today's video, I'll be making a box for my custom Mandalorian helmet. This is slightly different than the kind of stuff I normally do on this channel, and the box will be constructed out of this sheet of 1/4 inch MDF. I would have preferred slightly thicker MDF or plywood, but prices are really high right now and this is all I could get affordably. This helmet is the exact same dimensions as my finished helmet, so I'll be using that to draw all the dimensions used for this box. The final box will be decorated and given electronics to further match the Star Wars universe and really fit the aesthetic of my build. So I hope you enjoy the final result and hope you stay tuned for it. Thanks. My design for this box is inspired by Season 3 of The Clone Wars, the episode Corruption. These boxes in the top left corner can be seen in the background of the docks on Mandalore. The dimensions for this box were gathered from the helmet, and I wanted to make sure there was enough room for it to fit comfortably, but not too much room that the box would be oversized. Normally for a project like this, I would model it on my computer in Fusion 360. But for this, I decided that I wanted to make up the dimensions on the fly, because that's a very good way to practice and learn troubleshooting. Okay, so I have my first set of pieces cut out. Now, I have the top and bottom, which are 12 by 16 and a half, and the sides, which are 14 by 16 and a half. So the box will have dimensions of 16 and a half by 14. Now, I cut out several pieces that are 2.5 inches wide. These will be what the slides get attached to, since the material is too thin, and they will act as like artificial rabbets, basically. So they'll get glued into the box. I'm going to attach them first and then be very, very careful to make sure they're perfectly straight and square, so that when the sides and back panel get attached, they're perfectly square as well. So that's my next step, and I'll be doing that with PVA glue. Water-based PVA glue is what's best with MDF as far as I've read so far. I used a scrap piece of MDF to make sure that the gap was exactly the width of a single piece of MDF. Okay, so now I've given it 30 minutes. It's time to take the clamps off. The glue should be mostly set. And I can check how well I did. So this is going to be either the top or bottom. It doesn't really matter yet at this point. And let's test how well these rabbits are going to hold. That is perfect right there. Also perfect. Not quite perfect, but also quite good. Cool. Since I have access right now to the bottom piece, I'm going to put in the screws to hold in the slides. The box will open on a slide mechanism, so I'm going to install those now while I have access. Okay, so now it's time to glue the sides onto these, and I'm just going to be using the same wood glue from this bottle, and then spreading it with a plastic spreader to make sure I get full coverage on the surfaces. I'm going to do both sides at the same time, and then use plenty of squares to make sure everything is all square. Should be good, and then it's time to measure for the back piece. Okay, so now I need to cut out of my second sheet the base piece that will be on slides as well as the back piece. The base piece will be 16 by 13 and a half, and the back piece will be a little over 11 and a half by a little over 14. I'm going to sneak up on that cut just to make sure it's a really, really precise fit. Okay, so the clamps are off the box, the back piece fits, and it's starting to take shape. Now, the slides are in, but they're not attached to this base piece. But the idea is for the helmet to sit securely inside and then slide out like this to be displayed, and then it can be removed easily and be kept safe. So I need to figure out, before I go any further, what the front face of this is going to look like and what mechanism is going to be used to open and close this door. Okay, so now I have this sheet of MDF left over still. I'm going to use it to cut out the door and start cutting out the detail strips that will line the perimeter of the box. Okay, so I have 6 of these. These are going to be the vertical detail pieces that go like this. They will overhang on the back and sit flush. There will be different detail pieces that go across and on the top, and the door detail pieces will also be slightly narrower to fit the greeblies that I plan on putting on there. So now it's time to just glue these on, making sure that they'll be perfectly flush when everything's done. Now it's time for me to cut triangles out of MDF using a sled on the table saw and the miter saw. These will be cut 2 at a time using this method and will be used to add detail to the faces of the box. And that's where I'm going to end this video. In the next part, I'm going to be painting, 3D printing parts, and adding electronics to make a proper home for my 3D printed helmet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next part. Thanks.